What? Always gonna play with it. How are you? Oh, look, you can see my top shelf isn't done yet. Here. Well, this is what's gonna be. So here, maybe a little bit closer. Yeah, we'll do it. Still need to decorate up there. So, how are you? I hope you're well. I hope you had a good week. It's a little chaotic in the world. We'll talk about things I'm thinking about. Remember how I said that you were going to start hearing about possible in the US and that there would be false flags, not actual events? Um, okay, so I do the cards towards the end. So I have one person in line. I can't because I'm on my phone. I don't know how to type in this. Um, I don't know why. I just don't know how to do it. I'm gonna log on my iPad and see. My computer's been acting weird, and I have a new one now, but I need to transfer all the data, and I didn't have time to do that. I picked it up yesterday, and I haven't had time. I've been a little busy. But if you stay, you can have a card reading after. Um, I have one person that has a paid reading right now. I'm waiting for her to show up, and it's Linda. Let me see if I can get on. Mm, Give me a second. Um, So if you just hang out, if Linda doesn't show up, then I can just do a card reading for you. I'll let you pick a deck. I only just do a one card pull. But normally, if you wanted like a personal reading, they're $12, and I donate 30% to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. Um, why can't I do this? Switch it on. Go. Okay. Aha, here we go. Hi, CB. You did not miss the personal. Just no one was here yet. Okay, Linda is on for it too. I'm going between my iPad and um, my phone because my computer, I have my new one. I need to transfer all the data, but when I picked it up yesterday, um, there we're gonna do that. When I picked it up yesterday, I just didn't have any time because I was trying to get ready to go to a concert and um, get everything ready for my daughter. She wanted me to make brookies before I went. That damn OJ. Hello, how are you? Welcome back. Hi, Melissa from New Zealand. How are you? Um, so I'm gonna type in the comments under the butterfly the list so that you see it, because that way at least you'll see a list going. I don't even know what the 5089 is. And then CB, is that you that just paid, I guess? I am well. So I went to a concert last night with my friend Christina, and it was fun. It was fun. It was a good show. We saw Tedeschi Trucks, which is always a great show. Um they always do an amazing live show. So that was exciting. I was talking about for a second. Sorry, like you don't need to see my whatever. Sorry. Um, I was talking about things I've been picking up this week. I was just going to see if Linda shows up, but if not, CB, you can go. Um, so world events. I had just said something about like a couple weeks ago. I mentioned that there would be false flag events. Sort of like they would say that events would happen here on U.S. soil, and that they would be, oh, it's Iran doing it, but it's actually the not real country. We're participating in it. And then I don't know if you guys saw the thing about they'd made a warning. Sorry for they had made a warning that something attacks would happen in California from the FBI said this, but then they're walking it back and saying that was bad information because people were like, there's actually no way that that could happen. Um, Trump is trying to figure out how to walk back what he has. That's the feeling I get. And he's kind of in a rock and a hard place, what he's done. And I also feel like I got something last night as I was going to bed. Is basically like his enemies are closer than he thinks. So I feel like there's either somebody within his detail or around him that he has like literally no idea. I would say they're deep, deep undercover. Um, he has a lot of people ready to take him out. I'm okay. Just trucking along, as they say. No, Melissa, it's not only paid questions, but I always do the paid questions first because I feel like that's only respectful to the people who are paying for them. And then as soon as I'm done with those, I only have two people right now for that. And as soon as I'm done with those, I do card readings where I offer like certain cards. Like I don't do tarot. I'll offer some of my oracle card decks, and you can pick which one you like, and then I'll draw a card from that. So, Cindy, since I don't see Linda here yet, do you want to ask your question? And normally I have it where I have you subscribe before you actually can chat because it's a way to get more subscribers. But that option wasn't available. Hi, Jeremy. Am I ready to marry you now? No, I still got to get out of this other one. I'm in the middle of leaving. You're in the review and agreement stage. Wait, I need my comfort rock. Hi, Ali Gonzalez. When do I see your divorce finalizing? Um, I get 2 weeks actually. Okay, so call. I'll be sure to let you know. So I feel like 2 weeks. I feel like honestly, he's kind of it's sort of like there's nothing left he can do to stall it. Oh. So wait, are you proposing to Cindy or you were proposing to me? It's okay. I mean, listen, I would be sister wives with Cindy. I like her. Oh, to me. What I don't get to say, like it has to be a Harry Potter wedding. That's come on. Partnerships have communication and agreement. Hang on, Melissa. Slow down. I just want to see if Linda shows up. And then, yes, I will. You subscribe, like, and share. Oh, okay. Are you bargaining for more? Thank you for subscribing and liking and sharing. If anybody else hasn't subscribed, liked, or share, you should. You're so close now. You can taste it. I think the amount is fair. Good. Then that's where it should be. Hi, a ham, or is it Just kidding. With Prima, Hem Prima. I don't know how to say her name. You love me. You can't love me. You don't know me. You could be enamored by me or find me attractive, but don't know me to love me. Got to slow down a little bit. That feels a little bit like love bombing. Oh, it's you. Okay. Okay. You're under a different name now. Okay. Sorry to mess with your name. Okay. Go ahead and ask your question, Linda. Yeah. I mean, well, it's been a while, so you should be, right? Cindy, you should be ready to move forward. I got a necklace that matches this. It's like a longer one. And I tried on actually looked nice with this top, but I also felt like it was maybe a little too much for a Sunday morning. You should be happy. I always find it interesting when mm, I feel like maybe I'm like on the uh I'm an outlier, I guess, when it comes to like, changes because by the time I've decided to make the change, there's not like the depression and grieving because I've spent so much time already doing that. You had a dream of me dreaming about you in your dreams? Well, maybe in your universe. Okay, do you want me to switch to other No, you don't have to switch to the other account. Oh, that would be great if you did. Linda, I would appreciate that because I can't type from my phone. I have my laptop up and I can do that. I mean, not my laptop, I'm in between. So I got a new laptop yesterday, but I haven't had time to transfer everything over and I didn't want to just do like a shoddy little you've grieved and open to new possibilities. For sure you are. I'm a violent nutcase. Let's get married. Well, I don't want to marry somebody calling me a nutcase. That's not cool. Slow down. I don't want to block you, but like, you know. Yes, Linda, I can. You know what? Drag your you might not be caught up with the live, so drag over the line on the bottom of your thing. Yes, keep me posted. I'm good. How are you? Life is filled with love. If you want to leave, that's fine. You also know you have a great day. Hi, Parita. I don't know the response to salam alaikum. Is it salaikum salam? No. Is that right? I don't know. Assalamu alaikum. Salaikum salam. Is that right? I don't know. How are you today, Parita? Okay. I think Linda might be caught up. Let's see. While I'm waiting for her, I'm gonna just go back. So, oh, walaikum salam. Okay. Try to honor people's alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Is that how you say it? Can you tell me, as per divine, if I should communicate to my cousin? So, hi, Prima. Star, it's Annalisa. I am particular about that. Okay, Linda's back. Okay. Yes, I can see it. I'm in the United States. That's fine, no worries. Just ask your question. So another thing I've been thinking about is, did you hear the information about how dreams, like when you dream, you actually are going to other universes? There's like the theory out there. So, Life is Filled with Love, that would be a paid reading, and that's $12, and 30% goes to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, no problem, the star. Um, if you wanna just wait and hang out for a card reading, perhaps you'll get some insight that way. Um, so there's that theory, and so then I was thinking about some of the weird dreams I've had, like, so then some universe so I had a dream one time where Lenny Kravitz was, entering a baking contest, like, I ran into him in, like, a outdoor hallway, kind of like if you've seen California schools, how they have, like, the outdoor like, everything is outdoors except for, like, there's rooms that are in separate buildings, and, Prima, that's a paid reading, so that one would be $12, and I'll donate 30% of that to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, because that requires me to really dig into your energy. If you want a card reading, which I will do after I do the paid reading, so I'm waiting for Linda to just ask her question. Oh, Linda, I know, I'm sorry, I keep messing you up. Okay. Oh, that is you. Okay, sorry. See, I keep messing that up. Sorry. I know, I'm sorry. Um, it's killing me today. I apologize. So I dreamt about running into him. So now I'm like, oh, he's like a like a competitive baker in some universe. And I thought about other weird dreams I've had where like, oh, there's like some universe where there's giant contacts on beaches. I'll tell you about that one later. Okay. Okay, Life is Filled with Love. Okay, Linda, my apologies. Okay. Sorry, I got to program that in my brain. All right, so you want me to look at your heart? Okay, hold on. So I asked to look at your heart and I asked about I have to tell you, I feel like there's a little something else going on that maybe they're missing. So I feel like there might be like a little bit of blockage or cholesterol issue. Does that resonate when I say that? The star, I agree with that comment. Um, no, I'm saying specifically with your heart. Um, okay. So I feel like they'll find that in like 6 months. I feel like they'll look at a little bit of that. I feel like so I do feel the anxiety around what you're having. Um, it's interesting because it's like I feel like you're walking, it's good, you should be doing that, but I also feel a sense of like still needing to rest. Like there's still a lot of stress in your life, and you're not finding a way to decompress from that. Um, I do feel a need to actually add a lot more fiber to your diet. Almost eat as if you're diabetic. If you're doing that, it feels like where you really focus on fiber. You don't even necessarily have to focus on protein as much, but it's like getting out, like not eating just a simple carb, like making sure you have fiber with it when you're eating. So like if you're gonna have rice, have beans with it. Beans and lentils are high in fiber. Um, like really focusing on that will make a difference for you. But it's the sense of also like yours is there's a part of it that's pretty stress induced. You can't get into until May. Okay. I believe that everybody is born with abilities, and I believe that or has the capability, and then it's sort of environment driven on how either you shut it down or you're able to sort of gently flow with it, environment and social. Apparently, YouTube wants me to add a Q&A question sticker. I do feel like you can, yes. Um, I don't feel like you're gonna need, like, um, major intervention, but I feel like there's a need for, I'm not saying don't go to the doctor, obviously, that's not, but in the meantime, if you can't get into a cardiologist until May, it feels like, it might even benefit you to look at looking hormone replacement therapy too, but, in the meantime, eat like you're diabetic, right? If you can't walk after a meal, do like calf raises or whatever, like on your, you just do it under your desk, whatever. You don't have to like go anywhere. But engaging your calf muscles will actually help you with your blood sugar. I can tell you anecdotally, I know it works because when I was with my first pregnancy, I was high risk and I actually failed my first glucose test. And my second one, I was just sitting there like doing that. And I actually bottomed out my blood sugar pretty bad from doing that for an hour. So it works. And then I think it's a study out of Harvard that like proved that that's actually a beneficial way, sorry, a beneficial way to lower your blood sugar or actually open up the channels so that the glucose in your blood goes into your muscles. Um, as per me, do I think someone's silence should be also perceived as an answer? I mean, like just my opinion. Yeah. I also think I also really believe everyone is you pushed out. So I want you to look at it like this way. It's you're not manipulating anybody. You are, when you're making your choices and your thoughts and your perceptions, you're choosing timelines, right? And also like the idea of everyone is you pushed out is like so you're thinking like, oh, these aren't real people. No, they're real people. But also we all have infinite experiences. That might be hard to conceptualize for a lot of people. It's really even just like I can say it, whatever. And I sort of have this idea of like whatever, whatever, like everybody has whatever they can choose. But to like think of that number of what that means is so vastly impossible for our tiny little pea brains as humans. But like, so you can decide that that silence means they're just relaxed. It's nothing. It's no big deal. Or you can decide, and that's like, I think it's called the slit theory, something like that, where it's like, it's based on observation. Look it up because I can't remember it right now, and then my brain is not finding the words. But the idea is like you give everything meaning, and so you don't know if it's true that they're in a horrible way. So like, why are you not thinking in your favor? Why are you not giving things meaning in your favor? Why? Because it's delusional to say things are good. Who decided that? What system told you that you can't think positively about outcomes? So I tend to lean more toward, I used to be very like, oh, I'd be like, oh, they don't like me, or oh, I was too much, or I used to be very negative about things because I grew up in a system and in a family where I wasn't taught that, to love myself, to care about myself. I was taught to like really basically just do for everybody else or to minimize myself as much as possible. So like what when there are push-pull dynamics and then just unspoken silence? It's confusing right now. Well, what okay, let me help you this way. Let's back it up. What do you think it means? What are your um feelings about how the family shows up? What do you think that they how they view you? Um because then I can help you more. So I believe in manifestation through the law of assumption. Like our beliefs create our reality. I also believe in intuition. So I believe manifestation is your beliefs are your communication out to the universe. That's your expressive communication. Your intuition is your receptive communication. That's how the universe, source, guides, angels, whatever you want to call them, they're all a part of the same energy, just like you and I are all a part of that. That's my receptive. That's how I receive the information in. That's how I know whatever. And then your self concept, because I will talk about that a lot too, is your how healthy is that communication? So that's the base of it. Because I can do manifestation and intuition if I have a shitty self concept or a great one. It doesn't matter. I can do both of them. But if I have a healthier self concept, then like all of the other stuff is healthier too. I think that the person could either be hiding something because of whatever their internal experience might be, or maybe it's their habit and they don't really pay attention to consistency. Could you give it a meaning that would be more in your favor? And why do you think somebody would hide something? Because within you, so the idea is that like something happened to me to make me feel like people are unsafe and untrustworthy, that people are liars or hiders or sneaky. But what if it's just like nobody, like you could honestly just decide like nobody's able to hide things from you. Like they're always honest and trust, like they're always honest with you. They may lie to everybody else, but they are always honest with you. And you can decide that story. And people have to show up. And I say this because I do it all the time. And again, it's not manipulating, it's where it's the choosing the experience I want to have. And so what's funny is when I've had a story about somebody for a really, really long time and I start to change the story about them and they start to show up that way, I still revert back sometimes to be like, oh, they're trying to get, and then I have to stop myself where I'm like, oh no, they're actually doing what I manifested for them to do and to behave in a way that I manifested them to behave. And I'm wavering, I'm changing the story because it's so ingrained in me, and I stop myself. um and you can manifest even if you don't like, like if you want a relationship to change in a certain way, it doesn't have to be horrible, and it doesn't make you a horrible person for changing and making different choices in life. And like I've said before, like there are some people who want to bring back an old relationship. I don't have interest in that because I know that I hold belief systems that are so strong around that person, right? And so it's harder. Like if someone is sometimes wanting to be with you and sometimes ignoring you, like push and pull, if unspoken. So I believe when you have that belief system around someone wanting to be with you or and sometimes not wanting to be with you, there's something underlying there about worthiness of having somebody show up fully and be fully available. And um, there's probably some underlying thing of like you're not being likable or lovable enough or interesting enough. There's probably something there around, you know, people are never there fully because maybe you didn't get that. Like the first 7 years of life is where your brain is really kind of programmed in. It doesn't mean you can't reprogram it, but that's where a lot of the subconscious stuff comes. So somewhere in that time frame, I venture to say that you were taught that you didn't deserve to have somebody show up 100%. You weren't worthy of that. Do you love yourself enough to allow them to figure out that out and go find who makes you feel whole enough to not have to ask this? Hmm? Hi, Mariana. How are you? Oh, you know what? I didn't even see. Let me see about payments. Sorry, dear. Give me a second. Let me see if I have the app on this. I have to do this from my phone today, which is sort of annoying. Um, dude. See. Sorry, I didn't understand that. We should, so I believe that I also believe that sometimes it's really hard when we don't have a great self concept, right? We don't see ourselves in a way that's worthy and deserving. You're just here for the spiritual connection and chat, not for a reading. Okay. Maybe the wrong group for me, but I was drawn to you. Right. Oh, it doesn't, you're not that I just didn't understand what you wrote. That was all. I'm happy for you to be here. I just was, I recognize that sometimes, I misinterpret the way sometimes people type things. So I just wanted clarity. It's probably my nursing background, to be very honest, is, people get a little annoyed with me because I will repeat things back to them and like, okay, so you just said this, so that means this, like, because nursing really trains you, ingrains into you that like when you receive a order, you repeat it back. So you make sure you get it really clear because people's lives are at risk. And I love clarity. So because I don't want to misinterpret people, right? So I just didn't understand what you meant. Um, so I wanted clarity because you miss inflection and tone and all that stuff in writing. And I like these chats, so please stay. Okay, let me log into PayPal and see lower back pain, which I wanted to. Okay, um, just a second. Oh, got you, Mariana, for two. Um, life is filled with love. Said, where does overgiving stem from, as per you? Like overgiving in relationships naturally without thought, and also feeling like your sense of self-expression is blocked. I would say overgiving is that idea of like someone is more worthy and deserving than me. Like I should just give at the expense of myself. And that's the same thing with your self-expression, being like not fully feeling safe to be seen, heard, and valued. You said, yeah, true, but sometimes you care about your closed ones a lot. Like family is something that exists so that you maybe love yourself, but you care enough to think of helping them. I will also say, like, from having come from a family where I was sort of taught to be that way, right? So everybody's needs were more important than mine. And I didn't learn to set boundaries. And I also didn't learn that um, prioritizing myself was not okay. Or learned that, right? That it was like okay to prioritize myself. I didn't learn that. Let me reframe that. So I think that happens to a lot of people where it's like you're just supposed to do and do and do for other people. And it's not that somebody's going, you're not important. It's just, it's all in these like really subtle ways that it gets programmed. Um, I think that that happens a lot. I am always amazed at people when people just like seem to have um, a really great sense of self and that they were taught that and valued that. I'm hoping that instilling that in my children. I don't know if Star left. I think it's interesting when people leave when I'm just asking for clarity. I always am like, well, but that's a them thing, not me. How can one heal fast from overgiving a lack of expression? Um, I would say literally. So, oh, there you are, Cindy or Star. Okay, great. You didn't leave. I was worried you left. Don't leave. Like you're welcome here. 1,000% you're welcome here. I think discussion and I said this to a client actually because she and I are on different political ends of the spectrum, but we're really and truly people are not that far apart in things. We sort of have a lot of the same beliefs, and interestingly enough, and she was like, I don't want to offend you." I was like, "No, you can have discussions and you can have different ideas and opinions. It's how you learn, right? You can't learn if somebody is always thinking the same thing about things than you are. I love listening to different people's ideas about manifestation. I'm not in alignment with them, but like I'm open to it because I'm open to learning. So conversation is great. Um, Back and forth is great as long as it's done in a respectful manner. That's all I care about, right? So I think like the last end, I was not sure I understood that part. I want clarity. I'm not quick to kick people out of my space. Um, I just think, mutual respect, regardless, should be done. So I just wanted clarity on that one last bit. You're 55 and just started seeing psychologists for skills on self love done for others for so long that I forgot to do for myself. Yeah. Well, I learned it, and you do it in different ways, right? So, I was watching another creator on a live, and she was talking about, and I believe our beliefs create our reality. And this woman had said in the comments, like, oh, he never prioritizes me. And my immediate first thought was, oh, you don't prioritize yourself. And I thought, I wonder if there's ways that, because I've had that thought in relationships before. And I thought, I wonder, how is it that I don't prioritize myself? And this client that I was talking about, where she was like, I don't want you to not like me. And I was like, no, I think discussion is great. And I think it's healthy. And again, it's how you learn. And and also when you are open to having discussions, you find out you're really not that different from people. When you like, there are people who want to sow division in others in order to keep control. Remember that your beliefs are not that far off from other people. I promise. Even when people have said to me, like, I've had people where I've had discussions, they're like, well, you don't believe what I believe. And I'm like, I bet you we are closer to the same belief system than you do. I just don't follow organized religion. And then we sit and talk about it, and they're like, oh, we're really not that far off. I'm like, no, I'm not the devil, even though I don't believe in that. I don't believe in the devil or the concept of it. Like, but that concept of what the devil is, that's not what I believe in. And it's really not that far off of what you believe in. People are surprised by that, but you have to be open to that. Um, so healing fast. I want to remind you that like you didn't get to where you are overnight. You didn't get to those belief systems of not fully embracing yourself, right? Um, it wasn't overnight. It's like I would when I worked postpartum, and even with the moms that would come in from the NICU, they'd feel bad about their body, like I got to get my body back, or just like they would make comments about it, and I was like, it took you 9 months to get here. Give yourself time to get back to feeling like yourself. Like your body moved organs around, like literally shifted all of your internal organs in order to grow bones and organs of another human being, another life. Give yourself time, be gentle, be kind. You see the same way. It's nice to communicate with like minded people, which can be very hard to find for me these days. I'm watching from South Australia. Welcome. um, so on the manifesting end of that, my kids my one daughter gets really annoyed. She's like, why do you always say that? I'm like, because mindset is everything. And I know you like, um, the other idea is it's like easy for me to find people that are connected to what I believe in. I try to shift things because I know for a long time I was like, oh, I can't trust people. And it's like, nope, I can trust myself. And I know that I trust that I'll find the right people. Okay, how do you start healing process? Sorry, slowly. Um, there's all different kinds of ways. And these are things that I've done, all of them, and I think they all work. And so you could just pick one technique. And some people are like, you don't have to have a technique, but like they work. So like let's be honest about that. Like they work, that's why they're there. So there's techniques of listening to affirmations while you sleep at night. Um, there's several different ones I will listen to. You can listen to subliminals. The caveat is like if you have a doubt that they work, like, "Oh, this isn't gonna work," then it won't work if you're open to it. The other thing is literally just repetitive. The more you say something, the more you believe it. So the more you speak negatively about yourself, the more you start to believe it. The more you speak positively about yourself, the more you believe it. So look in the mirror in the morning and decide something good about yourself. Just pick anything, it just be small, right? You have a really beautiful nose. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. Um, just start speaking to yourself in a kind way. Stop being like, "Ugh, gross, look at this lump, look at this bump." Like, stop that shit. Um, that perpetuates it. Um, I say I ams with my daughters before they go to bed at night. So we say, I'll go through all of them. I am powerful. I am kind. I am smart. I'm funny. Hi, Linda, you got in. I'm funny. I'm valuable. I'm worthy. I'm enough. The universe watches out for me. I'm safe and protected. Good things always happen to me. Um, Oh, there's more. I'm creative, I'm curious, I'm courageous, I'm determined, I'm unstoppable, I'm lovable, I'm loved, I love myself, I fall asleep easily, I wake up well rested. Those are important ones. And I always have good dreams. Those are important ones. And every day is a great day. And it doesn't mean everything happens in a perfection, but like it's really interesting because my one daughter, they'll always be like, oh, everything always does work out perfectly. Like everything always works out in my favor. And like literally they start to see it happening in their life. Um, it's just programming, and programming for humans and animals and beings is through repetition. How do you train a dog? How do you train, an animal? Repetition. How do you get good at a sport or a language? Practice and repetition. So you don't even have to I mean, Star, you can. Acceptance is even so very hard and painful, is transformative for the shadow and the soul. So and essential experiences to hear. So I will say, other things that I've done that work are, when brush your teeth, like if you're right-handed, brush your teeth with your left hand and say things to you, because it does something through the neural pathway that programs it a little bit easier. Um, Other things I've done is like doing activities that healed my inner self, my child, right? So I never got to do any sort of lessons or anything. I was a feral child. I was a latchkey kid from a very early age, like 6 or 7. And I was doing my own laundry at 7. And so I started taking ice skating lessons as a way for healing for me. And it was actually really good for me. Um, it happens in all different ways. It's not going to be like a one off thing, but start with one of the things I've suggested and be your own friend. Don't speak to yourself any other way than you would speak to a friend. And decide that what follows I am is really important. That was one thing I really found very interesting, is your brain has like 5 things that it's deemed as important, as like really on the lookout for. One is danger and one is your name. Decide, literally just takes a decision. What follows I am is really important. You'll start to hear yourself. You'll kind of catch yourself then when you say like I am, and then whatever follows it is like, oh, I'm such a loser. You'd be like, oh, don't speak to yourself that way. That's the way you create it. And what you decide to be true is that the world has to reflect that. So if you decide like, you know what? I am prioritized. I'm always prioritized, which means you prioritize yourself and other people do. They have to show up that way. And you can start with something small, like, oh, I always see little blue butterflies. Watch to see how they start to show up. Okay, chickadee. I'm waiting for Mariana to ask her questions because she has 2 questions, and then all's good, just with a bit of lower back. Okay, so Mariana, whenever you want to ask your questions, you're up. So I agree with you, Star. I sort of tend to, I think nursing did this to me. I tend to try to stay away from really um, language that can be confusing, like the shadow and all of that, only because, and you're like, well, why would that be confusing? Because it can be such a different concept. And I learned in nursing, I know I'm missing some color. I learned in nursing just that, well, one, so many people really the idea of like reading at a 5th grade level and just don't have the knowledge. And I learned to like language that's easy, digestible, and not confusing, especially when people come here and for readings when they don't feel like they have a sense of where they're at. They're a little lost, or they're a little vulnerable, or a lot vulnerable. And I try to remember that when you're in those moments, um, concepts that are kind of out there are more confusing than helpful. Um, First about lower back pain. It's been going on for more than a month. Did acupuncture and massage, do yoga every day. Um, it's funny, I feel like almost like a pressure pushing down on my pelvis. Like, it doesn't feel like it's coming from your spine. It feels like I have a pressure pushing down on my pelvis. Does that make sense? We're take aspiring every other day. You're it's still bothersome. Um, I feel a twinge of pain that feels slightly more on the left side of my coccyx. That's your tailbone. So it shapes like this. It kind of comes down and it feels like something you draw it. Um, give me a sec. Oh, I've got my little, this is what I do my reading sheets. I can do this. Doo, doo, doo. Okay. This is my left side, actually. Okay. So your coccyx comes down like that. This is my left side. That's an L for left side. It feels like it's like right there. There's like this pressure that's right there. Um, wait. So they're asking you to do a couple things. So it feels like psoas, somatic psoas release. And that's where it is right there. Um, I don't think PT or acupressure will get rid of it. I think if you found a physical therapist that specialized in somatic psoas release and fascia release, you'd be better off. So I feel like look up navel fascia release. That might help. And then also releasing your psoas muscle because that feels tight the way it's pulling. So I guess if the, again, if the PT maybe I don't know that acupuncture will help it. So again, look at somatic psoas is PSOAS release, and then fascial release, and look at navel. It's really interesting. I didn't ever realize. So I was always like, oh, it feels weird. It hurts when I push in on my belly button. But the doctors, like, whenever they examine me, and this is like forever. And then I saw this guy talk about it, and I started putting pressure. I was like, oh yeah, that does make sense when I have to release fascia. It's like it's just a pressure and a hold. And I'm like, oh, and it actually kind of relaxed everything. Hi, Jolie. How to control your intuition so that it doesn't come just anytime and you can choose when to tap in and not to, because sometimes too much information gets overloaded and you don't want it. I don't do that. Um, I don't ever turn it off. I think that I will say this. I'm essentially always an open channel, but there's like a filter that happens when I'm around a lot of people or in public where it's sort of like uh well, okay. I have your guides, source, whatever, is really good about listening to your boundaries. Much even spirits that like are crossed over. Um, like they're way more respectful of boundaries than humans are. So keep that in mind. One, if I'm getting information that I don't want, especially from it's a loved one that's crossed over, I'm like, you gotta find another way for this person to get this message because I'm not. I refuse to go up and give people information. The other thing is, I just look at it as if, like, when I get information about people that I'm around, I just look at it as like, oh, they have brown hair. They have, like, they're just observations that I am aware of. I recognize that I might have an unfair advantage to my abilities of knowing things about people that they haven't really fully given me permission to. And usually it's not the only way that I get more than what's surface level is if I ask questions. So don't ask questions for clarity. If you get something, don't ask the why. Don't ask the how. Don't ask for details because you will get the information. So that's one. Two, you can tell your guides, I don't want this kind of information right now. Set a rule. So I have a hard and fast rule. I don't like physical manifestations of spirit, meaning I don't want shit moving around. You can talk to me in a million different ways. You can communicate with me a million different ways. Don't move shit around my house or wherever I'm at. Quit deleting your comments. They're great comments and I want people to understand what I'm reading. Otherwise, I'm reading them all out loud. Quit deleting them. There's nothing to hide from that. No one's going to know who you are. I promise. Clairsentient and empath, how do you shield yourself? I just believe, again, your beliefs create your reality, right? I just believe I'm well protected and I'm safe. I also believe it's just information. I don't have to absorb it. I don't have to take on other people's stuff. So I decide, I'm like, oh, hi, violets. I just decide, like, oh, that's not mine. Right. So I walked by a little boy the other day on the blacktop when I was taking my daughter to school, and I was like, oh, yeah, I think he has an ear infection brewing. Okay, that's his. That's not mine. Oh, that person has depression. That's theirs. I do these readings here. Oh, that's their stuff. It's not mine. And I move on. It's literally just decisions. And I think what people don't get about your intuition, also, I don't call it myself an empath. I call myself a clairsentient because I feel like empath is very limiting and clairsentient is like feeling all the ways. That's just a like semantics thing and a my thing. Just letting you know. So if you don't, you won't hear me call myself an empath. But um I don't believe that it's an absorption thing. I just believe it's energy passing through for me to be aware of it. Just like when you're I think these are really I like these discussions, so ask lots of questions. I like teaching people. So like when you are, say you go before you go into an event, you feel totally fine and you walk in the room and all of a sudden you feel anxiety or a headache or nauseousness or something like that, just decide in that spot that's not mine. um Sometimes I actually create physical distance. So at ice skating one night, one of the people I skate with, I was like, I skated by her and I was like, ooh, your stomach really hurts. I probably shouldn't do that to people, but I just like, it was sort of like word vomit. And she was like, and then 10 minutes later, she's like, I have the worst heartburn. But what I did was the minute I felt her stomach, I skated away from her. You think empath has been co-opted and now people use it as just to feel smug about having basic empathy. So I agree with you. Yeah. I do think it's like, I think everybody has the ability to be intuitive. I think that's part of the like the feminine awakening because your divine feminine chakras are from your heart chakra up. Your masculine are from your solar plexus, your root chakra, and your sacral chakra, right? Those are the lower chakras. That's the very grounded, earthy ones, right? So everybody has divine feminine and everybody has divine masculine. Does not matter. That is not a gender specific thing. Then there's the idea of also playing the role of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Those are separate, they're two separate things using the same lingo. Um, I think the idea of the divine feminine rising isn't about, I do feel like women will come into more power and step into their own power, but I also feel it's a lot of like everybody incorporating more divine feminine energy, male and female, and that there's this, then you develop more healthy, well rounded masculinity and healthy, well rounded femininity as well on a gender specific idea or however you identify. Do I believe in angel numbers? I think they're fun. I really lean into your beliefs create your reality. And I think, and I have always said genuinely, whatever your soul aligns with, go with that. So cherry pick your spiritual beliefs. So if someone talks about like when I first started stepping away from Christianity and moving into like figuring out what I believe spiritually, because I was always having these experiences, my soul knew that, like, as a very little girl, that what I was, seeing in church didn't fit with my soul and the spiritual experiences I was having. And like, people saying connecting with spirit was evil or bad or the devil. And I was like, but I'm a good person. Like, I don't get that. So I think as long as it doesn't become like a psychosis type thing where you're like, oh my God, I need it. Like you're not totally leaning into that, like where it's everything, have fun with it. Cause it can be a way that source speaks to you. 100%. You can decide, like when you create your intuitive language, you get to decide the meanings of the symbols. So a lot of people will align with like, oh, dimes and pennies. And when I find them, whatever, that means my loved one is there. That's your symbol for that, but that's not what that is for my symbol. It's just dimes and pennies. I have no connection to that on a spiritual sense. Oh, yes, Mariana, let's do your second question. I'm sorry, dear. You're not interrupting at all. My dad and his brothers have been waiting for the late sister's estate to be distributed. When will it be distributed? April, end of April. And I feel like some of that has to do with a snafu in paperwork. And I heard a redundancy. So I'm not really 100% on that, but it feels like someone not filling something out and then a redundancy. Yeah, that's the feeling. Super bureaucratic. Um, you're very welcome. Thank you for calling me out. It's good to do that. I get a little lost. And I didn't know you were a nurse. I've been thinking about nursing school. I was a nurse. I looked it up just because I was like, I'm always like trying to keep things open and how much it would cost to read because your license is for life. Mine is just inactive because I haven't paid it. It's basically a late fee. A very Yeah. So I'd have to pay like the $75 plus $10 a month for every month that I haven't renewed it, which might be a good chunk of change. But um things I liked about nursing, I really like connecting with patients and bedside care. I hated the idea of like uh having to join committees. And that was like for some, I can't even remember the name of what it was, but it was like for some status, some bullshit status hospitals get like that really honestly doesn't really mean a lot. Uh it's like we're going to reward ourselves and pat ourselves on the back. I don't know. I don't want to join committees. I don't want to be in charge of anybody. I don't want to be a charge nurse. I don't want to be a manager. I just liked bedside nursing. I like patient care. um I don't like bureaucracy. I don't like political stuff within like, uh I don't like the favorites thing. This is probably all my own neurodivergence where I'm like, just like, I don't want to be best buddies with people I work with. Like, I'll be nice and polite and I'll stick up for people where they need to be stuck up for. And, uh, but I don't care if you know about my kids or my family or like, um, or if I see you outside of work and it's nothing personal. It's just, I feel like it gets messy in nursing otherwise. There are nurses that eat their young and are absolutely awful. And there's a lot of really, really, really fucking wonderful people that work within it. There's good and bad everywhere that you work. Some places are better to work than others. California seems like it's got it right because they have like legally like laws put into place for staffing ratios for patient to nurse ratios. They also have a system set up where you work 8 hours. It's like all shifts are pretty much 12 hours now for nurses in hospitals, acute care. But hi, Miss Regine. How do I pick up on stuff for the computer? I don't know. It's just um people aren't even using it's energy, just energy. It probably doesn't matter about real names or anything else because I don't even care about what my guides' names are. And I see people seem to get really caught up on names and I just know people's energy. And that's what tells me I can just feel it in my own body. Maybe it's the whole quantum physics idea of like, there's one theory and I can't remember which one it is. Like, oh, is it I can't remember the name of it, but like something here and doesn't matter the distance can affect and be connected to that. And I think we're all interconnected. And like the space in between us is just even more connection. It's not. It's not empty space. It's like when you think of an old video, when you think of any video game, really, the things that look like space and sky are still pixels and they're still interconnected. So as far as nursing, oh, you've heard great things about California. Yeah. So California nursing seems really great. I think that well, there's also compact states, so you have like licenses to do. I would say if you're going to do traveling, make sure you're. I had 5 years under my belt before I just did traveling. They only require a year, but honest to God, you need more than that to because when you're a traveler, you're going to be the first one that they throw under the bus if something goes wrong, and you need to be strong enough in your convictions about your skills and your knowledge so that you don't get told wrong because people will do that. Regine, I got your payment if you want to ask your question. Um, I would say it's not hard, just some subjects may require more studying and memorization, but there's a lot better tools out there for learning than there were when I was in nursing school because computers just because of technology. Um, there's apps and games and all that other stuff to like learn, especially for anatomy and physiology and learn the Krebs cycle because you're going to have to go over it a million times in different classes and then you'll never ever fucking use it again unless maybe you're in ICU, PICU. It seems to be a really big deal in school and doctors will say that too, like learn the Krebs cycle. But then like it doesn't seem like you ever, I mean you kind of use it, but not really. Do I see you actually staying in that apartment? I don't because I asked like I so this is what I asked. Do you have a roommate? Life is filled with love. Stop deleting your messages. Please. um, I won't delete you. I just want you to stop. Because also, anyway, sorry. Because whatever. Uh, so when I asked if you would have a roommate, and I don't feel that at all. I keep feeling like you're moving to a smaller place, like something a little more cozy, and it feels brighter and lighter. Also, don't be afraid of the NCLEX. I think what I did with the NCLEX was I just bought like practice study books and I just did them over and over. Like I would take them over to my friend's house. Like we'd all be hanging out and drinking. I'd be doing NCLEX tests. um, it was when I took it, it was a lot of prioritization. Like I think there was like two random diseases that I'd never heard of, and then a lot of prioritization. Like what patient do you care for first? How do you triage that kind of stuff? Which really is like what you really need to know. And then also like once you get out of nursing school, I was like so afraid I was going to kill somebody because like you feel like you've lost your net, your safety net of like your professors. But like really you have a great safety net around you. Never ever worry about asking for help. There's always going to be somebody with more knowledge and ability than you around you. So ask. Sometimes the residents aren't the place to go depending on where you're at. Like if you have first years, second years are a little better, but there's always an attending around and most people are like willing to talk to you and help you and you know the attendings that are assholes but there's usually a nice attending around too that's like loves to teach. um so you when you're first starting to you're gonna you don't have to get shit hours. I didn't get shit hours when I first started. I actually got days when I first went out. So like that's also a mindset thing. And also a mindset of like they need nurses, so they're gonna hire me. So I'm gonna find a job pretty quickly. Cause that was always my mindset. And I always got offered like every single job I interviewed for. Um, you don't have to start in med surge. So don't position your like because they'll say things like you need to have a year in med surge. You don't. You can start wherever. They'll train you wherever. Um, don't think because one area doesn't work for you that you're going to hate all of nursing. Like I'm definitely not an ER nurse and I worked in the ER for 9 months and then I was out and I didn't feel guilty about it at all. I was like, this place is turning me into an asshole. Um, and it was like it was like sensory overload for me, which I didn't realize I had sensory issues. Um, I don't know. I liked being a nurse. I didn't like some of the stuff that came with it. If I had to go back in order to make money, I would do it in a heartbeat, but I would probably choose a different, more low key setting. And I probably would not go back into acute care. I'd probably take a soft nursing job because I like people. I don't know. I just don't want to deal with like the hospital stuff. Like, I don't want to. I mean, I don't know. Plus, it was like, and then in pediatrics, it's just kind of heartbreaking. And I don't know if I could do it as a mom now. It's a little colder when I was pre-mom era. I'm kidding. I actually got told by one mom in Brooklyn. I did um one contract in Brooklyn and then I left because I was like, this place is insane. Um, First of all, they scheduled me really super shitty on the nights. Like every weekend I'd work. The weekends that weren't my weekends, they'd always schedule me Friday night. And then so I'd work into Saturday morning. And then the weekends I worked, I was scheduled Saturday night and Sunday night. So I like never really had a weekend off. Um, and I would have like if I don't know, it was weird. Nursing in New York is weird too. I don't know. But I would say like when you start out, you want some acute care experience because it will benefit you, public or private. Uh I was at I don't know, I guess it's a public. Um I was at Maimonides. That assignment was at Maimonides and I was in the newborn nursery because I'd come from NICU. And like there was points where I was taking care of 17 babies by myself when somebody was on break. And that's an hour. It's a lot of babies. Um Yeah, and then, like, I was like, there was an aide, and I just started folding some laundry because I was done with my kids. I was done where I was at, and I tend to be somebody like to look for stuff to do. I don't like just sitting around and at work, at home, please. um, is that really? I don't know. I'm not going to say anything. Oh no, what? Yeah, Maimonides, and I wouldn't personally seek care out there. At least this was like 20 years ago, but yeah, back then I wouldn't. They just have a very high ratio. I mean, they had moms that were gravid of 15, which is gravid of 15, para 14. Like they 14 kids. Like and that was common because they serve the Hasidic community. Um, I don't know what the rest of the hospital is like. It was busy. It was a very busy hospital. Like I mean, and it was so well lit outside, like, and it was so busy, like, in the fact that like I could go sit outside and read a book at 4 o'clock in the morning and because it was well lit and there was just tons of people around. I had your youngest at Columbia Presbyterian and my first at Mount Sinai. I'd never do Mount Sinai again. I've never did a contract there. I have a friend that I used to work with in traveling. I think she still works there. Yeah, it delivers a lot of babies. I would Life is filled with love. I would just look up what it means. I have angel number books, but honestly, if I were you, I would just look up what they mean. Um, And if you can't find the 4 number combinations, just look up ones and twos together. Um, and then go with what resonates with you. Like, and you're like, oh my God, I can't do that. Yes, you can. That's your intuition. That's your intuition telling you, oh, that definitely feels like that's what that means. Do you guys want to do some card readings? I mean, we can keep having this discussion. I don't mind that. But so I have a spirit animal oracle. Um, this is a crystal one. the Green Witch, Wisdom of the Oracle. Go there for a minute. Ouch. Go look at your arm. It didn't really hurt. I think it's just the sound. Voice of the Souls, Past Life. We're not doing Tea Leaf because you need more than one card to draw from that. And this is Magic and Mediums. Hang on, I have more. Stay with me. I got more. Dragon Path. You here. Outside. The Enchanted Map. Women in Myth. Enchanted Map, Women in Myth. Trust Your Vibe. I'm gonna put these back. I think I'll pull them out. You can tell me what you want. I've got more. Oh, these two I do. They're new. Moonology and Woodland Wardens. I think that's it. But life is filled with love. You can keep asking questions because I enjoy that. Okay, so Wisdom of the Oracle. Wait, and Crystal for. Okay. Woodland Wardens. Magic and Medium. Wardens. Okay. You put a question mark. Do you want to see what it looks like again? You can change your request too. That's fine. Okay, so Cindy, this is yours. All right, what card? The Magic and Medium. Okay. This is for Cindy. What card does she need this week? Beneficial turn. Cindy, are you really tight in your jaw and the back of your neck here on the left side? And I even feel like it kind of runs up behind my ear. Ooh. Chrysocolla. Number 4. The neck. I slept wrong. I was gonna say, did you have a headache? I would it's gonna sound weird. I feel really tight in my jaw. I would, if I were you, the things I would do is like this is for like a fascia thing. They'll put pressure here, like on your chop, and turn your head this way, or kind of manipulate it until it feels like your skin is tearing, and hold it. So you want to hold the skin, like you can pull it down on your neck too, kind of like, and it'll help kind of loosen up the fascia, and that might give you some relief. Okay. Chrysocolla is self-love. Look at that. Do you see it? Tranquil and sustaining, Chrysocolla encourages you to remain serene and strong during changes or challenges. Dissolving destructive emotional programming, it increases energy assimilation. Self-understanding, you have infinite capacity for forgiveness. Love yourself. If you cannot accept yourself, you cannot give love or accept the love of others. That's not true. It just means that it'll be crappy love. Oh, you took a picture and missed it. I'll hold it. Let me know when you got it. All right, let me see if I get a better angle too. Okay. Um, so you have infinite capacity for forgiveness. Love yourself. If you cannot accept yourself, you cannot give love or accept the love of others. Again, I don't agree with that. I'm just reading what it is. I actually believe you can always give and receive love. It just doesn't mean it's necessarily healthy, right? It might not be balanced. You might be getting bare minimum or less than bare minimum. or and they say like they love you, just not to the capacity that you deserve. Okay. Um, to heal your emotional black hole, connect to the universal love that is inside of you. Totally believe in that. It never runs out. You can then give love out to the world and receive it in a never-ending flow. Again, in a healthy version. A divination, forgive yourself, accept with equanimity what you cannot change. Let go of hurt and rectify situations that can be healed. Be magnanimous. Remain impartial and speak your own truth, when but recognize when to keep silent. Excuse me. Magical rituals may keep you chained to the past. There may be past life trauma to heal around being a woman. Healing insight, bitterness and self doubt have no place in well being. It is good to nourish your body with self love and gentleness. Frequency, earthy, chakra cleanses and activates all. Timing, Taurus, Gemini, and Virgo. Soul path, loving and valuing yourself. That's a beautiful one. Chrysocolla. I if you're looking for stones to work with, what I totally tell people to do is just go to a little rock store, places that sells rocks, and feel where you gravitate to. This is the way I choose things. And then I look at the meaning of it. I'm like, oh, look at that. That's interesting. Because it's also like a nice way to like test your own intuition. Like you're intuitively pulled to things. Interesting. Wait, I want to see something. I'm gonna leave this here. Or light 23. That's this thing I have here. I'm gonna look at it. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Who wanted wisdom of the oracles? Violets. And then Linda wanted wardens, and then Jolie wanted that one. Okay. If you're new here, you haven't been here today, welcome and hello. This is for Violets. What does she need to know today at this moment? Oh, someone asked, like, how can you feel through the phone like you don't even know somebody's name? That's where I get a little annoyed with when manifesting people are like, psychic isn't real. And I'm like, bitch, it is real. Because I do what I do and I do it the way I do it. I'm a skeptic by nature. And you're right. I don't know anything about you other than your handle. And I mean, some people I know more than others because I've read for you personally, or you've been here for years. And so I've done private readings for you. Um, but like it is real. And I also like doing it this way and not knowing anything about you because it feels so much more impactful. Um, like you can't say I'm not cold reading. I'm not reading anything other than your energy. I'm not reading your facial expression, and when I do private readings, I can tell energetically and people are worried that I'm doing that. So I intentionally will not look at them. Um, my gift has expanded, but in person. Yeah. How can you be added for a reading? Denzel, hi, welcome. I'm just doing Oracle card readings unless you want to pay for a reading. If you want to pay for a reading, they're $12. I donate 30% to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey because food scarcity is real and every dollar provides 3 meals. So there should be a link in the description. If Linda, if you're here, would you put in a link for can you copy and paste the link for the PayPal if he wants it? If you would like an Oracle card reading, I can go through in a minute and show you the decks. If somebody wants to list a couple of them, you can see this one I'm doing is Wisdom of the Oracles. I just did a crystal deck reading for somebody that they chose. This is the crystal deck. I'm gonna do a Woodland Wardens and a Magic and the Mediums. I let you pick the deck, use your intuition of what you feel called to. I have Spirit of Animals, Green Witches, Voice of Souls, Past Life, Women and Myth, Enchanted Map, Trust Your Vibes, and a Moonology deck and a Dragon deck. You can pick any of those. I'd be happy to pull a card from there. Okay. I don't mind doing the card readings for free because it really doesn't take a whole lot for me to intuitively just know which card and to pull and stop shuffling at, um, and then read. But the other one does take a little bit more energy, and so it gives me an opportunity to also give back. Um, this one is for Violets. What does Violets need to know today? Let me pull that one because you were sticking out. Mm, I'm giving you two because one was sticking out, and then they were like, "Nope, but you have to have this one too." I'm like, "Okay." And that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So the first one I pulled out was Message in a Bottle, number 15. Can you see that? And that one reads, essential meanings: communication, a sign, a Cledon, which is the ancient name for a spontaneous oracle delivered innocently by the speaker, pointing to the way that you're to your highest good, pointing the way to your highest good. The oracle's message: spirits send you signs when you ask for them, when you believe you will receive them, and when you allow yourself to become fluent in the language of symbols, oracles, and omens. They may come to you as a bird flying by, a logo on a truck, a song on the radio. Expect confirmation that you're pointed in the right direction. Keep your ears open, for someone might just say the right thing. The right thing that will give you the answer to your query. Today, your message is this: Spirit hears you, and the reply is favorable. Relationship message: you can expect someone to favor you with positive news. This could be in the form of a letter, a phone call, or an email, or a text. That's my own insertion. You are the intended receiver of this message. So stay open to what you learn. Only good will come of it in the end. The signs are all there. Prosperity message: you are on target with your purpose and your passion. You are coming into alignment with your destiny, and spirit wants you to know that you're on the right track. Expect a call, a new opportunity, or a message from an old friend or business contact that will lead you closer to your dreams and greatest desires. Spirit has been listening to you. The other one is, this is witchcraft. Crumble cookie? Do you like those crumble cookies? They're terrible. Let's be honest. This isn't witchcraft. And there's even psychic abilities. Like there's examples of psychic abilities in the Bible, and people speaking to spirit and mediumship. It's actually quite interesting. But and honestly, witchcraft. There's nothing wrong with connecting with source, but this isn't witchcraft. That's not what I do. So if you don't feel connected to this, please explain the difference between Bible and tarot cards. Why don't you do that? You know that. You're just being a little nitpicker. Uh, I'm going to say goodbye to you because your energy feels not so great. Um, and I don't know why you're looking for that. So, bye. Okay. This one is regeneration. I don't welcome people here that, like if you're just going to come in to be argumentative or weird, like I don't have time for that. This is my page. You want to go talk about witchcraft and all of that stuff that you think that this is and be angry or scared or feel fearful. I don't practice my faith in fear. I don't practice my connection with source in fear. In fact, I always think that's a really, really great way to know that you're not in alignment with source when it feels like it's scary or someone trying to control you or tell you like, this is really scary and God's going to punish you if you don't do these things. This deck is Wisdom of the Oracle. Okay, so this card I'm reading now this is the second one for Violets because it came out that way, is Regeneration. And that's number 46. I spent a lot of years being afraid and like then questioning myself and my abilities. And I think that's what a shitty thing to do to somebody because you're trying to control others. And if you really look up how the Bible was created and came to fruition, especially all the different versions of it, you start to go, huh, that's interesting. And for who gained from the different versions. So your fear base does need to be here. Okay, regeneration, essential meanings: rebirth, second chances, new opportunities. The Oracle's message: second chances are available to you now. Whatever opportunities you thought were dead are now revived in a more authentic, stronger form. Whatever you may have perceived as a failure or loss is now being replaced by something better and more powerful growing in its place. This rebirth is assured. Step into your new life. Destiny is being fulfilled in wondrous ways. Relationship message. The world is based on connections and relationships. No matter what loss has occurred in the past or even now, death and endings are only illusions. There is a life after death, love after loss. And in this moment, you are radiating the regenerative life force energy that makes you irresistible to love in all forms. Now is the time when you will see evidence of this new emergence. Can you feel it? Love is rising up to greet you. Prosperity message. What happens when it appears you failed at something? Do you see the beauty in the lesson? The understanding that arises from difficulties and is like a seed that lies dormant for a time. Then once it germinates in your subconscious, it pushes through its into your awareness. It is becoming apparent that there is a new you and a new start, a more powerful version of a more powerful version and form of what you began to plant in the garden of your imagination has surfaced. You are ripe for success. New opportunities, much better than those that came before, appear like gifts from the gods. Now is one of those times when out of seeming loss and failure come remarkable abundance. Do not dwell on the past because you really are experiencing rebirth. I used to get really scared when people would challenge me and be like, this is like, I used to get really nervous about it. Now I'm like, okay, honestly, I think Christianity is the only religion that does that, like A, proselytizes in that manner, and B, like goes out and fear mongers others because they think like, and I always think like your God is the most powerful God ever. Like this is your belief, right? All the most powerful, everything else. And yet he needs you to go out and get people to come to him. Like, I mean, if something's that great, they should just put that magnetic energy should just draw people in, and he shouldn't need his minions because in Christianity, it's a he. I always find that interesting. I think that that's great, and I'm not like I just it's the institutionalized version is, I guess, what I'm talking about, and I think it's great if you have a relationship. I mean, my friend that I went with last night, we were talking a lot about it, and she's like she said something, I was like, "I mean, I just don't believe in all of that. It doesn't, I don't resonate with organized religion. It's not just any organized religion, and the dogmatic part of it, and then a lot of the hypocrisy, but I think Jesus taught a lot of great lessons, and I think there's a lot you can learn from it." There's also a lot of like this is where like you get into the like learning how the Bible was created, where there's like, a lot of contradictory statements too. You left as soon as you saw what it was. Yeah. I mean, there's a reason that churches have very high insurance rates. Okay. Let's see. Wait, who had the Woodland Wardens? Um, Linda did. And then Jolie had the Magic and Mediums. Okay. All right. What does Linda need to know this week? What does Linda need to know? Beneficial for love. The elk and ash. The elk and ash. Oh, oh, here it is. Okay. And it's number 8, which is infinite. Um, Elk are colossal creatures crowned with a substantial antlers. Substantial antlers, sorry, known to cover great distances over difficult terrain, they are symbols of strength and endurance. Likewise, ash trees are sturdy and resolute, able to flourish even in harsh environments. Upright, which it was. You are called to gather your strength ahead of challenge. Face it with confidence in your own in your own stamina. Tame any unruly elements that try to derail you. Questions to ask. Am I prepared to face upcoming challenges? How does inner strength differ from outer strength? And what situations call for each? Oh, I think this is interesting, so I'm going to read it to you because this might help you. It says, "You may feel overwhelmed in the face of challenges that seem impossible to overcome. Call on the spirit of the elk and ash. Ask to be reminded of your own strength." Some are very judgmental. I mean, that's human nature. Even even in the spiritual community, right? Like there's judgy people, and I was like, that's weird. But uh, and I think what's shifted mine is doing so many readings. Number one, like I remember coming into nursing. Um, they say like you have to like put your judgment aside while you're caring for patients. You're going to see stuff that like you'd be like, ugh. And it's I always thought, well, how do you do that? Like, how do you not be judgmental? And I think what helped me become like, I mean, I'm kind of judgmental sometimes, but even then, when I have that judgment, I'm like, that comes from somewhere like that. And it's not excusing the behavior. It's not validating their behavior, like, oh, it's okay that they do that and act, like it's not like boys will be boys. Like, it's none of that shit. But it's also like, I also recognize shitty behavior comes from somewhere, right? It's not, or abusive behavior does come from somewhere. It's not an excuse and it's not a forgiveness, like, that's okay. Like, next time you'll do better. Uh, But what I learned, like doing through self concept work and beliefs creating our reality, and really healing a lot of my own stuff, and then just doing a lot of readings, is recognizing that like everybody has something, everybody's got a story, everybody has a background, and they express it all differently, and they process it all differently. Um, I don't know. I just enjoy having a spiritual practice where I don't feel afraid all the time or like I'm doing something wrong all the time. Or that if I don't do something specifically one way, then am I somehow making my God disapprove of me? Okay. Magic and mediums. Did anybody else want a card that's here hanging out listening? Being quiet. And like I told my friend, I was like, you have to explore your own spiritual practice and belief where you're at. But I always worry. I mean, not worry, but I guess my thought is like if it's making you feel afraid, is it really doing what it's supposed to? Because your spiritual connection should bring comfort, not fear. If I don't do this right, is it going to work? Like, I don't know. And you know what? I brought a lot of inner peace to myself by like recognizing that anything that makes me feel afraid, I'm always like, So, like any story that they give you on the news where they're like, they're going to be bombing California. It's like, I'm always like it automatically makes me like, what do you, it throws up the skeptical mind of like, what do you have to gain through this story by making people afraid? And you recognize that fear is a great motivator. Like, oh, you know who said it? Who is it that said, the president that said, there's nothing to fear but fear itself? And because that's a way of controlling you. And he was a 33-degree or 32-degree Mason. There's a connection there. I don't know. Anyway. Okay. So this is for, you heard a woodpecker yesterday, and that was a sign. I don't think I've ever heard one. I don't think I've ever heard, I mean, I've heard woodpeckers. I haven't heard one in a while. We used to hear them all the time before we got our siding redone to concrete stuff. That would annoy the shit out of me because it was so loud on the house. um, Jolie, this is for you. Okay. Eisenhower, man, might have been. Um, but I happened to look up like when he said that, I was like, oh, that's interesting because they say that people who are Masons and like into all of like that stuff that they have to tell you, they have to warn you about what they're doing, and they're in a roundabout way. That's why they say like with all the conspiracy theories that maybe aren't so much conspiracy theories, like they tell us what's going on in movies and things like that. Like it somehow absolves them of that's their belief system. Like if I tell you, then I hold no responsibility for it. All right, Jolie, what card do you need? Let's see. Card do you use? Healing. Um, Oh, it was Roosevelt. Thank you. Oh, you Googled it, I'm guessing. Okay. Curing or curative, prescribed or helpful to heal. Fears, resentments, and addictions can be oh, sorry, I was reading wrong. Okay, sorry. uh, Fears, resentments, and addictions can, with time, become toxic and impede your own advancement, leaving you unable to fully heal on your own. Angelic healings reminds us that we are never alone and can always receive powerful spiritual assistance in leading healthy lives with love and light. All you have to do is ask and expect to receive for this healing to begin. True that. Angels then will then confirm their presence in your life by speaking to you in their own language. A coin or feather appear randomly along your path. Miraculous, miraculous. Why am I struggling? Events occurring and the constant witnessing of angel numbers, synchronous numbers like 1111, 222, etc. 444, I believe, is the angels are with you. Begin healing your life by working with the angels. To do this, just invite the archangels of love and light to provide healing, knowing that once you ask, they will then begin to guide you to receive their healing that serves your highest good. You can invite specific archangels into your life for a particular purpose by inviting them by name to influence your life. Archangel Michael is notorious for helping people sever cords of fear in their lives, while Archangel Raphael is popular for all around healing. Gabriel is for communication. So if you're having a communication issue with coworkers or loved ones, you can call upon Gabriel to help out with that. Who needs to pick an oracle deck? Oh, um, after you invite them into your life via an informal request or a formal petition by thinking their name, reflecting upon their sigil, or calling their name aloud in Hebrew or your native tongue, you can just in your mind talk to them. Yeah, because all of that other stuff seems like a lot. Um, You can then decide to deepen your relationship with these angels by working with angelic crystals like selenite, angelite, and kyanite. Kyanite's great because it recharges itself. You never have to do anything with it. Selenite's great. It's inexpensive, so it's like a great, just letting you know. Receiving crystals. What? Wait, hang on. Angelite and kyanite. Receiving crystal bed therapy sessions. You don't need to do all that. You can just put it over your heart chakra and by attending Reiki healing circles. Card meanings: upright surrender, relaxation, clearing, deprogramming, Reiki, support, release, cutting psychic cords, peace, healing, hands, miracles, interventions, hope, sex, uh, divination. You will see manifestations of your ascension as you heal. You carry more light and embody divinity, causing positive changes in your life and your surroundings. What was once bleak will have transformed. One thing that kind of came to me was doing and calling back your energy might be good for you. Like I call back my energy from all times, from all planes of existence, time and space to return to me now. Um, I liken it to the idea of like no longer allowing somebody to hold space over you, like where it's like you're angry about something for a long time. I call back my energy from that. You no longer have any control or any connection. It's sort of like a angel or cord cutting, but it's different. Okay. How do you do a card reading? You just I'll show you my decks that I have and you can pick a deck and I'll pull a card for you. Sound good? So that one was magic and mediums. Then I also have Woodland Wardens, which is this one, and I have Wisdom of the Oracle, which is that one, and I have a Dragon Path, um, Spirit Animal, the Green Witch. Um, Hang on, should have put some of these back. Voice of the Souls. Oh, some of this down here. Past Life, Moonology, Trust Your Vibe, and I have one called Enchanted Map. So you choose, you let me know, and I will be happy to read for you. Dragon Path, awesome. What did you want? Life is filled. This is for Cooley. What's Cooley need today? Serene, number 22. So you could also look up the angel number or master number 22, see what the meanings are with those. That might be a little something extra. I am the lapping of waves and the morning sun. Gently flowing water and a warm summer breeze depict this dragon's energy beautifully. Serene connects to the calm and resilient energy of Mother Mary, so you can rest assured that life is going to settle down, especially if it has been rather turbulent as of late. She says, I am the lapping of the waves and the morning sun. Allow me to wrap you in my blue cloak of tranquility and accept my presence as pure calm settles around you. When your inner perceptions shift, so will your outer world experiences. Remember that the tranquility you seek lies within. Volatile outside scenario is only a mirror of turbulence inside. Call upon me to guide you to the peace of heaven you crave. Observe your life experiences changing as they begin to mirror your inner feelings of serenity. She encourages us to go gently with ourselves. We are quick to nurture others, but often neglect our own needs. We must feed ourselves with that which brings us joy and makes us feel alive. As we accept that we are important, our worldly experiences will reshape and shift in a positive way. No, this one is the Dragon Path. Would you like the Woodland Wardens? Oh, wait, hang on. Sorry. I skipped something. Which of the dark green? Oh, the dark green one? The Woodland Wardens. Violets, you're great. Thank you. That one? Okay. So this one is for life is filled with love. What do they need to know today? Remember I mentioned a blue butterfly before? Did I say that to you earlier? I can't remember. The butterfly and snowdrop. Hope. Who did I mention the blue butterfly as a symbol? Like, oh, you set the like to for manifestation. Was that to you? And that number is a Roman numeral I'm not familiar with. I'm sorry. I think the only thing you really need to know I don't XLVI. I don't know what that is. Now I have to study just to be able to read okay. Okay. Wait, let's see if we can figure this out. That's 39. So I guess somehow it's 40. I guess L is for 30. I don't know. All right. Hope. The butterfly and snowdrop, two symbols of spring, reminds us that winter will soon end and hope is on the horizon. Butterflies develop through metamorphosis, transforming from an egg into a larva, then becoming a pupa or chrysalis, and finally hatching into an adult. The egg stage is so humble, and the full-grown butterfly so astounding. The process can feel like magic. The snowdrop has a bit of magic about it as well. It is one of the first flowers to appear towards the end of winter, signifying that brighter, longer days are just around the corner. A period of hardship is coming to a close and better days are ahead. Take heart in signs of the coming thaw. What gives me hope in times of scarcity? That is your answer. That is your reading for today. All right. Is everybody done? If you're not subscribed and you're here and you're new, please subscribe, like, share. I come back every Sunday around 10:30 ish. Today was 11 because I was trying to figure out, I was actually trying to transfer my information from one computer to the other and it was taking a long time. And then I was just going to use my old computer and it was annoying me. So, and then I could only, from my phone, I can only set up like full hour times. I can't do half hours or quarter hours. So it's a bit stuck. Hi, Francis. How are you? You're welcome. You feel a little down, Francis. Would you like a card reading before I leave? Do you want to pick an oracle card? I do paid readings. They're $12, and those are private, like personal, like when you're asking personal specific question, but I'll pull free cards for people too. I was actually having a conversation about a friend, Francis, last night with my friend Christina, talking about something she had predicted back in 2020. And I was like, it now makes a little bit more sense. You're very welcome. Life is filled with love. And I was like, oh, and she was like, well, will you validate for her? I was like, well, if it fully comes to pass, yes, I will. And then, and I was like, oh, I'd like to, but we don't talk anymore. So I was like, so we'll see. I might reach out and see, but it has to fully come to pass. But it was like some of it's starting to line up, and I thought it was interesting. That's what I think of when I think of Francis. Did you want to do a card reading? Otherwise, I'm going to say goodbye because I have things to do before my kids come home. Hi, Robin. How are you? Friend from your childhood found out he has a frontal lobe cancer. Okay, that's a paid reading. So, re remember I said that the card readings are free, but the paid reading, anything that's really personal and deep, those are no, I don't do free readings. I don't work for free that way. That requires me to look into a lot of energy and everybody has their stuff. But if you want a little card reading, I will do that. But I do have to set that boundary. Because you're asking me to like what I do is I fully sit in somebody's energy. So there has to be an energy exchange. Otherwise, it does drain you. Just like Um, attorneys don't work for free, doctors don't work for free. Yeah. And so I want to say this, don't pray out of fear. Pray out of faith, right? So you're going to say thank you for keeping him safe, thank you for letting him get the best care and have the best doctors and nurses, their hands on deck through all of his care. Okay. Robin, did you want a quick card reading? Otherwise, I'm going to skedaddle. If you subscribe, I go live every Sunday. It'll remind you that I'm going live. Please like if you got a free card reading. Yeah. I just think my friend asked me last night, she's like, "Do you pray?" I'm like, "Not really. I set intentions. I don't not in the way that I used to pray or that the way I think people do pray. But I also know that it's not much different than what I do. It's just the way I do it is different." Before Wednesday, I do email readings and if you want to ask a question over email, that's $20. But this is the only place I do it this cheap because I'm here. I set aside this specific time. So to get a paid reading, Robin, or a oracle card reading. Good night. Life is filled with love. I enjoyed the conversation as well. You have a wonderful day. But the Francis, the reading would be here right now. I don't chase people around or try and remember who had a reading when. Like, you're a spiritual person, so I am open to what? You're not sure if you want a paid reading or oh, okay. Um, what's the difference? Okay, so a paid reading is $12. I donate 30% to the community food bank. And that's a like a very direct question where someone's like, look at my friend, can you do that? Or I've got these financial issues that's got going on, or whatever. A quick card reading is you pick one of my Oracle decks, I just pull a card for you. I don't want to show them also. Like, I mean, there's Voice of the Soul. I'm not going to show them. I'm just going to name them, and then you can pick them that way. Okay. Hi, hey, hey. How are you? It's good to see you. It's been a while. Spirit Animal, Green Witch, Magic and Mediums, Voice of the Souls, Past Life, Wisdom Oracle, Women of Myth, The Enchanted Map, Trust Your Vibe, Inner Child, Moonology, Woodland Wardens, and Dragon Path. So which pack would you like, Francis? And then also Robin. Um, I will tell you what's interesting is Francis, I got you Woodland Warden. What's interesting is when I've done a paid reading for somebody and then they also ask for an oracle card reading, they oftentimes line up with the paid reading that they got. So if that's helpful for you, which I think is interesting. So this one is for Francis. What is France? Oh wait, no, yes, this one is for Francis. What does Francis need to know today? Would be helpful. The Bobcat and Blackthorn, patience. And that is number 30, 40, 40. Bobcats are stealthy hunters, blending easily into their environment. They are independent creatures who can wait for hours for their prey, pouncing up to 10 feet at the right moment. The blackthorn is a thorny shrub covered in bittersweet berries called sloes. Associated with overcoming obstacles, the blackthorn's sharp spines provide shelter to vulnerable birds. According to lore, if blackthorn berries are plentiful, the coming winter will be severe. Traditionally, harvest in late autumn, sloes provide nourishment in the form of jams, wines, and other hearty treats with which to patiently pass a harsh winter. That's a weird sentence. Sorry. Traditionally harvested in late autumn, sloes provide nourishment in the forms of jams, wines, and other hearty treats with which to patiently pass a harsh winter. Weird sentence, but okay. A difficult journey ahead requires preparation and patience. Channel the bobcat's stealth and pack plenty of provisions. Ration your sustenance carefully, remembering that berries are often sweetest after a hard frost. How might I mentally prepare such that I can survive when supplies are low? The one card oracle, I'm a scorpion. Can you just pick a deck? Wait, which one? The one card? Because I don't want to have to do my intuition to pick a deck for you. That's why it's free. I just do minimal work here. You're welcome, Francis. Dragon for Robin. Okay. Perfect. I can do that. It's okay. If the birds are attracted to the berries, the bobcat might be interested. But the berries protect the birds. Thorns, remember? All right, this one is for Robin. If Robin needs today, that would be most beneficial. Avebury Matriarch. And that looks like number 8. Oh, just kidding, 13. I was like, that can't be 8. I will guide you to discover the best way you can heal. This dragon comes in with the strength and power to delve deep into our ancestral past and bring healing. She usually follows the matriarchal line back through the passage of time. She states, "The time has come to release the chains that bind the continued pain from your ancestors, which has been passed down from generation to generation. You do not need to own this, as it is not and never was your pain to bear." She reassures us it is safe to explore old family hurts and release them to her. If she has shown up today in your reading, ask for her wisdom to guide you in the best way to heal the past and move forward in your life. She says, "I will guide you to discover the best way you can heal and leave the pain of your ancestral past behind. Old family wounds only fester on a deeper level if not acknowledged and released. They serve you no purpose in your journey now. If the Avebury matriarch has flown into your awareness today, she wants you to visit an old natural temple, stone circle, or other ancient sacred site and connect to the energy of the land there. She asks you to ground yourself and be still and ask for her guidance. Due to her connection with the Avebury henge, she carries an incredibly ancient energy that of the old ways, the shamanic healing of the ancestors of England. Her wisdom is as ancient as the land itself." Okay, I think that's everybody. I'm going to say good night, afternoon. I hope you have a wonderful week. I will be back next week on the 22nd. You're very welcome. Have a great one. Thank you for joining me today.